Okay, so I got a quick editing video for you guys today. So I think subjectively, contrast is one of the greatest things. I think a lot of us love it. I love it. Photographers everywhere, I think, have gotten quite used to the custom or the idea of using contrast, especially in sliders these days. But contrast comes in multiple forms. So the one that most people are familiar with is the contrast slider, which you can find on any photo editing app. Very simply, that basically just deals with luminance for making a light pixel lighter and a darker pixel next to that lighter pixel darker. And contrast in general can really help with things like perceived sharpness and just visual pop, giving that image that punch that makes people kind of stop and stare at it a little bit longer. But they were all deceived, for there was another form of contrast. Sorry, I couldn't help it. If you haven't noticed, I love Lord of the Rings. But really, though, there is another form of contrast that is overlooked, and that is color contrast. And so I grew up as just a classically trained artist. Yeah, I grew up drawing and painting and using color theory and learning that from a young age. So it's always been intuitive to me. But the more I've done this photography as a living, and the more I've done teaching photography and workshops and education and all that stuff, the more I realize that that's not intuitive to everyone. So let's jump in the computer real quick, and I want to show you how this can really help, especially with your wildlife photography. It can help with everything, of course, but I'm going to be focusing here on wildlife photography. All right, so let's open up Bridge here. So let's go look at this guy. So this is what brought up this whole video, is that I was editing this and I thought that it might benefit some people. So here is an image of an extremely adorable and quite rare olive warbler. I took this the other day near my house, and this has been one of my nemesis warbling birds for a very long time. The key things to note here are, one, that this bird has a lot of yellow in it, and two, that it's in a forest here, and we've got some green and some warm greenish yellowy tones. So never mind some of this other stuff. If we get a proper exposure here, that would definitely help. So already that's looking a lot better. Maybe we'll just bring it up just a tad. Anyways, okay, so we're doing a couple of basic edits here. And this is helping. Already having the correct exposure has helped the perceived contrast. Now, if we do global contrast here, this is also helping to a degree. It's also kind of making things a little bit worse in certain areas. I just did all that work and effort to reduce the highlights, but it's brought them back up. So I could fix all of this, of course, and also I pushed it way too hard for demonstration's sake. But you get the drift, right? Contrast is cool, it makes things poppy, but let's take a look at how else we could do that. So we're gonna put that back to 0. So instead of doing global for starters, I'm gonna come in here to my mask and I'm just gonna grab the background. Because one thing that I want is the bird to stay nice and pretty with its colors that are moderately accurate. So while we have the background selected, I'm just going to start dropping the temperature. So let's do the opposite, right? So if we make it warm and make it look like it was golden hour or whatever, now what you see start happening is the background colors are starting to blend with the bird, and it just doesn't pop so hot. So we're just going to cool it down. And if we go super ultra cool, on the color wheel, blues and oranges, yellows-ish are kind of complementary colors. So this really gives you the most in the color contrast when you have complementary colors. Obviously, this looks like crap, right? So we want to find a median, but I am okay with cooling this down a bit because if we think about it, we're in this forest and it's kind of a little bit moody, and so I can also change the feel of just that whole vibe and make it less warm and inviting and a little more moody, but I'm still retaining these greens here, and I think that's important. I just don't want to go too hard on it. So if we do a before and after, you can see already that's a big difference. Now if we go in here again and we grab our subject, sometimes it doesn't do the best job in the world, so I just want to make sure we clean up these little bits here. Okay. Anyways, now that the subject is properly selected, now we can go in here and boost only the subject for saturation. And that's really going to emphasize those yellows. And we can also take it maybe a pinch further if you're feeling crazy, and we could warm it up just a touch. I don't know if I like the warming on his little cheek though, because that's meant to be grayer and a little less colorful. So we can subtract that. And that just helps that stand out a little more. So now we have, oh yeah, you know what? We're getting some light reflected from his underbelly onto his little leg there. So I'm just going to go ahead and subtract that too. Okay, so now I think we're moving in the right direction. That is a massive difference. All right, so here's one more similar. But if we, again, I had it at +1 exposure. So all of my exposures were a little bit hot, but I did that intentionally for when I was shooting for backlit, knowing my camera that I can retrieve these, you know, a stop over is no big deal for retrieving the detail in my camera. But one more thing we can look at is in creating contrast, specifically in this situation between our subject and our background, is again, if we come in here and grab our background, whether we want it to be the background to be darker. In this case, you can see how now you're getting a lot of contrast. Of course, this is pushing it way too hard and it looks, you know, just ridiculously fake. I don't want the bird to look like it's, you know, has a spotlight on it in a Broadway, show or something. And then if we go the opposite, sometimes it really helps to bring up the background instead of underexposing it. In this case, I don't think that's the right call, just subjectively from me. I do prefer it a little bit darker. And then now we're getting that good separation between the lighter bird here and then the darker background. And just because this is targeted to the background and not, you know, globally, if we were to just do, you know, the slider here, that can help in certain situations. But in these cases, I've got the sun peeking through in the forest and I've got a lot of these hot areas, you know, on the bird and on the leaves. And the more you do these global adjustments, the more that's going to hurt those. So there's only so much that you can do to pull that down. So that's why I typically don't do too much with the global stuff, except for in this case, like the exposure, that just the whole thing needed to come down. So if we adjust the whole scene here, I'm liking that overall, but again, it's making the bird look a little too blue. So if we did that, the opposite then would be to come in here and grab the subject and then just warm the subject up. So that's basically the opposite of the way that I just showed you, but you know, in Photoshop, there's a million ways to do different things, you know. And then we can take this stuff a step further and we can come down here. Oh, let's get out of the mask. So we can come down here in the main editing suite. And instead of going for these global saturation and vibrance, we can come down here to this guy, the hue, the HSL, the hue, saturation, luminance. And we can start messing with like the saturation of, oh, I want to bring up just the yellows. And if we want to go to the hues, we can say, oh, I want to warm those yellows up just a little bit. So we can start going this way. So you can see if I push it too hard, I'm going to turn my little bird orange. And he doesn't want to be an orange bird. He's quite happy being a yellow bird. But we can just warm it up a little bit on just just the yellows there. And then the same thing if we want to mess with luminance values and say, you know what, some of these blues here, if we notice that there's like a tint or a cast from a particular hue, we can just bring that down and I can darken those or I can lighten them. But in this case, they're the shadows. So I'm going to darken them a little bit and then I can come back here to saturation and I can just pull the blues right out of this image. And you'll see this a lot with people when they shoot like things in the shade. The shade typically will cast a bluer tint, especially if you're on auto white balance. And then also like in wings of birds and stuff, you can get real bad magentas. So you can just pull the purples and the magentas down, which aren't really messing with anything in the image here other than helping those grays and neutral colors be more neutral. And that's what we want here. And then we can just push this even just a little bit more, and then you can see that's looking a lot better to me. All right, that was it. Super simple, but I think it can be quite effective when you start thinking about colors and how they can affect more than just, you know, the actual what color is this, when you start thinking about them in terms of the color wheel. So if you haven't already, you can definitely like just look into the color wheel. Most of your editing applications will have a color wheel built in. Taking a look at that and learning things like complementary colors, seeing what colors are opposite on the wheel, those complementary colors are going to give you the most color contrast. And then you can look into things like tertiary colors, and all of that should definitely help. Especially I find that it helps a lot when I'm doing stuff like this with wildlife, where you get a lot of colorful birds and you get, you know, a lot of these backgrounds, and sometimes the colors with the birds and the backgrounds work really well together, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they might need just a little bit of a push, you know, to help emphasize that subject separation or give it that visual pop and just take it to the next level. And of course, all of this stuff is subjective, so, you know, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or not to do. I'm just showing you some things that I like doing every once in a while. But color is important, so I'm just going to leave it there. Hopefully that helped you. If you're picking up what I'm putting down and you're liking the content, hit that like button for me, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. The most important takeaway here, though, is definitely get out and bird as much as possible, because that's the best thing you can do. Birding is definitely the superior activity, but so is chai time. And on that note, it is definitely chai time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.